Hi, welcome back to Growing Up Catholic - His Loving Touch. Again, I'm Elaine. Yesterday was my and my husband Dave's 47th wedding anniversary, and of course we're in isolation, so we weren't able to go to our favorite restaurant, which is I could say rather expensive for us. You know, it comes usually to about $120, but it's a really good steak place and great food. And we do that once a year on our anniversary. But we weren't able to do it yesterday, so we just ordered in some Italian food and celebrated by watching binge watching the Big Bang Theory and some of the Doctor Who. So anyways, that's what we did for our anniversary. But today I want to talk about marriage. And I have to be very careful because I don't want to make it bigger than it was or lighter than it was. I guess I've been really suffering with a pulled nerve in my back and muscle. And I've been in a lot of pain, more than my normal. But it's getting better, so praise God. So back to marriage. This was when my daughter, Mary, was quite ill with her heart. She was around 7, and the doctors at Sick Kids had told us not to let her fall and not to play with the kids, no roughhousing, no anything, because if she fell, her heart could stop and she would die immediately. Now, they gave us this news and sent us home because they were going to do heart surgery, but because of the way things were back then, we had to wait 3 months. 3 months. Thinking our daughter could die any minute. That's hard. We'd already been through a lot with her, and it was just beyond coping. And plus we didn't have any money. I was working, and Dave was laid off. So we didn't have many groceries or anything. So pretty much the only thing, it was Sunday, and it was after church, and we came home, and pretty much all we had was milk and pancake mix and a couple of eggs. So all the kids went downstairs to watch TV, and we had 4 at the time. And we had shut the door because the dog came into the kitchen all the time, which was fine. But when we were making breakfast, or lunch, brunch, she would come in, and she wasn't well behaved, put it that way. She was a good dog, but so anyways, so I said to my husband, we don't have any pancake syrup. And he said, okay, well, we had butter. And I said, well, can you go to the store and get some pancake syrup? And he said, with what? With what money? And I said to him, you always have a little bit on you. And I had come to know that. But this time he didn't, and I didn't know that. So we started arguing. Really arguing. To the point, I shoved him. And I said, I know you've got money on you to go get pancake syrup. And he said, I don't. And then I shoved him. And then the unthinkable happened. I had always said if a man ever hit me, that was it. Now Dave didn't, I don't know. It was like a light went off in his eyes, and he didn't hit me hard. It was just the shock that he would hit me. But then I didn't act like myself either, because I don't shove people. And I shoved him, and I shoved him hard. So I don't know, with the shock of everything, he went outside, and I went around and started locking all the doors and windows. And then I ran upstairs to our bedroom with some green garbage bags and started stuffing all his clothes in the bags, because I was not going to let him back in. That was it for our marriage. That was it. So as I'm stuffing his clothes, and so in shock and so angry, but God, was talking to me. And in my thought process, I kept hearing God tell me to stop. Stop putting his clothes in the bags. And I said, no. I said, if any man ever hit me, that would be it. And that, and then God's voice got stronger and stronger in me. Finally, I heard him say, Elaine, he is suffering as much as you are. And he didn't mean just suffering because he hit me or the fact that he hit me. We were suffering with our daughter's illness, and that she might die any minute. And it was inconceivable to have that much pressure on our shoulders, on our hearts. So God just kept saying to me, Elaine, stop. He's suffering more than you. Not more than you, but he's suffering just as much as you are. Go unlock the door and let your husband in. And God was just, pounding that into me. So I said, fine. But that doesn't mean I'm going to let him stay. So I went and unlocked the door, and I looked at my husband's face. And I saw his suffering. And I said to Dave, this isn't us. How did we let this happen? And he just took hold of my hand and he said, I don't know. Let's go pray. And we did. We went into the front room. We knelt down and we held hands, and we just said, ask God to forgive us and to help strengthen us, and to allow this incident to build us, to help us grow in our marriage. And it did, It took me probably 6 weeks before I really healed from the situation. But we forgave each other. We hugged as we knelt in the front room. And it was a long story, but that's what happened to us. We had heard many times that parents of sick children often separate and divorce because of the strain. But that day and in the front room as we knelt, we weren't going to let that happen to us. We weren't going to be a statistic. We were going to trust God, and we were going to walk with His strength. And it's not that we've never argued again, but not like that, ever. It's, you know, Dave's a really good man. He's loving and kind, and so am I. And we didn't expect that from both of us. And we did go for counseling, and we didn't have any money, but there was a Catholic counseling service, and I called them, and they didn't ask for money. And we went there once a week. You know, but the miracle of this story is, to this day, our children tell us they didn't hear a thing. And Dave and I were yelling at each other. And the kids say, "No, Mom, we didn't hear anything." What a blessing that was. Because that would have changed who they were. And, I mean, we've had problems. We've had situations. We've had situations in our life, you know, like any marriage. It's a roller coaster ride. So, now here's another little miracle. When all that happened, and we finally decided to just have pancake with butter on it, and Dave's mom, Doris, she often came to visit. She lived in Windsor, and we lived in Essex at the time. And so it was kind of like a 30-minute drive from Windsor to our house. And I was working at the sink, just washing up some things after we had made the pancake mix. And in our driveway comes Doris. And she went to her trunk and opened it, and she took out 2 bags and somehow closed the trunk of her car and started coming to the door, and Dave met her. And when she walked in, she knew something had happened. Because I'm sure, because Dave and I were crying, and our eyes and probably facial expressions weren't like they should be. And she said, "Everybody okay?" I said, "Yep." And Dave said, "Yes." And she said, "Well, I brought you some groceries." I said, "Oh," I said, "Well, that's nice." She said, "I know you're going through a hard time." So as she's unpacking the groceries, that she pulled out pancake syrup. Are you kidding me? Pancake syrup. which the whole argument was about, but not really. That was just the catalyst. So she puts the pancake syrup. She says, oh, it looks like I'm just on time. I said, yeah, we're having pancakes. And I said, but we didn't have any pancake syrup. She says, well, here it is. And there it was. So from that time on, Dave and I were very careful. Careful of each other not to ever step over that line again. Yeah, we had other situations, but nothing like that. And I am very thankful to God that our children never heard the argument, never heard me go upstairs and pack his clothes, and never even came upstairs while we were crying and praying and holding on to each other and asking God to give us the strength we needed to get through the next many years of Mary's illness. You have to remember too, we also had our son Joe, who was born with a hole in the heart, and he often turned blue. So Mary was going to have heart surgery. Joe needed heart surgery. So was this about pancake syrup? I don't think so. It was stress. It was everything that mounted up to that moment. The fact that we had no money. The fact that we had to pay hospital bills. The fact that we were sleeping on the floor. Just so many things. So anyways, that's it. I hope you realize that marriages are hard, and in the best of times, you're going to go through your moments. A lot of times when we were at sick kids hospitals, we always noticed that families of kids with cancer had a lot of counseling. They had a lot of counseling. We didn't. I mean, Mary's heart problem was one of 5 in the world. The other 4 had died. So every step we took with her, she made medical history, often not in a good way. So we fell between the cracks, and nobody thought to help us with counseling, except that we went to the counseling for our marriage, and we did talk about Mary, but that was it. It was not like there were other people who related to us or had the same problem, with their child's heart. Yeah. So, God was our strength, and more so after that day. And what really, really hit me was my mother-in-law bringing pancake syrup. And I thought, God, he just was there for the right reason. I mean, not for the right reason, but he was there. And the pancake syrup was a sign to us that he was there, that that he put it on Day's mom's heart to bring us Pancake Syrup. It was a great lesson for us in our marriage, and we built on that shattered rock of our marriage at the time, and we built up from there. We were not going to be a statistic because we loved each other. We, you know. So that's that story, and I hope I did it justice. And for any of you who are, especially during this isolation, and you don't have a good marriage, and or you're living with somebody abusive, and don't stay in that marriage if somebody's abusing you. I know it's easy for me to say, but just, even if it's isolation, you can still get out. You can call the police, anybody that could take you to a shelter for abused wives or even abused husbands. So don't stay, even though we're in isolation. But if you believe in God and He is your strength, and your partner, your husband, wife, your partner is your strength, and things aren't going so well because of the stress, kneel down. Kneel down together. Join your hands. Ask God to help you. The situation may not change, but your hearts will. Our hearts changed. We were more able to cope with the situation of Mary's health and Joe's. So call on God. He is there. And He will help you like He helped us. So that's that story, and I'm going to say thank you for watching and listening. And I just hope it helps somebody to either get out of abusive situation, or if you both believe in God, to kneel, pray, ask forgiveness, ask for strength and wisdom, and you will get through. You will get through this. You will not be a statistic. Remember, you are warriors. Warriors for God. And that's all I need to say. Okay, so God bless you. And, that subscribe thing there, if you could subscribe to this channel, I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And God bless you. And I probably won't post again for another week because my daughter's work situation has changed hours. So Monday and Wednesday are the only days I have to do this. So I'm just going to post the one story for this week. So God bless you. And we are praying. My husband and I pray. And we're praying for all in this isolation, that the stress of it doesn't grow, but that God intervenes and that you feel different and have better coping skills. We're an example of that. Okay, so I'm going to say goodbye. Please subscribe and like. Thank you so much. See you next week.